Alan and Emily had only been together 9 months, but when it started, says Alan, it was just so immediate. The night they got together, they both just kind of knew. It was sort of like a weird, prophetic kind of thing where I think it was the first day that the schools had a snow day. It snowed out. It was kind of like this past blizzard, you know, sort of like city shuts down, magical kind of thing. He'd gone out with some friends.
I'm not? 666, which was the traditional number of the bees.
Now here's the thing. This little scrap of papyrus that Dirk turned up is the earliest known copy that we have of that passage. He showed me. Can you point to the letters again and show me? It's 3 numbers. They're smack in the center of the papyrus.
3 Greek letters, Chi.
And they'll realize that they don't have a queen, and they'll pull an egg or pull larva and start feeding it the royal jelly, make the peanut-shaped queen cell, and 16 days later, you got a brand new queen. Well, one time I made a brand new queen. It was my first queen. I was probably 17 years old at the time, and I had it out on my back porch. And I knew come day 3, she goes 3 lessons.
But that it actually is something you can see at work in a lot of other places and can be used to solve much more complex problems.
Much more complex problems? Well,
a little chuckle that I do. It's like, yeah. It's even better than Elmo could laugh. And as Sadie spent more time with Jim, she learned to say words and phrases. And then one day, several weeks after
he arrived, as he stepped into the lobby, he looked around for the first time, and he thought to himself, like, what is going on here? Because everywhere he looked, he saw people, some in chairs, some standing, totally still, like frozen.
I've never known, I've always been fascinated by the kids in my going. But later in life, when I became an actor, I ended up doing a play about a goalkeeper. I got to meet goalkeepers.
The goalkeeper got away from that.
And goalkeepers get a rough deal. I mean, when we were doing the play, it was very simple.
My nigga Kid Cudi, that's my little buddy. Call some hoes up and get some cutty. What's your life like? Mine's is kinda tight, a long way from hustling. They trying to write.
well, so David Minnick was our grand prize winner. He gets $500, a ticket to the live show, and a back rub from Robert.
I didn't know I was doing back rubs.
I just put that in
All
there,
right.
but now it's on tape. You gotta do it.
Okay.
And let me just say one thing.
Have 18. Your older brother competed against a zillion people to get into City College. You competed against no one. You wanted to join the debate team. No one went out for the debate team. You were captain of the debate team. Like, I always, it's funny. You always talk to people in this born in small cohorts, and they always think you're talking to some guy, accomplished little guy, grew up in the Bronx, white hair.
Does contain within it a really dangerous thought, which is that our abilities are just sort of God-given, and so they're fixed.
But his argument would be, you need some talent, and you need certainly a little bit of good luck. But what you really need is this strange love of the thing you're doing, and it's the love or the determination to succeed.
And
I do it all the time.
And she tried to poison her best friend. Repeatedly.
Whoa.
Back up for a second. Where would she have gotten the chemicals from?
She worked, I believe, at a lab.
She works for a chemical company. I think it's Roman Haas.
So she's a biochemist.
She's actually a microbiologist, but she grabbed some chemicals from her office.
I think she also orders some off the internet.
Amazon.com.
But they're pretty serious chemicals.
Like what?
Well, one was
arsenic-based, and in large enough doses, and when I say large doses, I'm talking teaspoons, not gallons. It can...
You get sick of that had no name. You might survive, you might not. And of course there were the good old standard ways to get sick. I mean, there was malaria. You can get malaria lots of places. But the people at this medical center, a lot of them were American doctors who would kind of go from crisis to crisis. And they would talk about the malaria in South Sudan and say, this is an amazing malaria.
It has to do with a law of nature that says 2 particles identical particles cannot be in the same place at the same time. So when you hear that sound, you can hear it as the sound of a law saying, no, not allowed, not in nature.
Exactly. And here's a it's a slightly different way of putting that.
But wait, isn't this law?
It's Dr. Heimlich.
What?
I'll push you in, take the elevator to 4 and turn left.
He's alive?
Yeah.
I just would have assumed he died like 100 years ago.
Yeah, so he lives in Cincinnati, and I went to see him because...
You went to see... Does that happen to you every time? You like, if I told...
So, in 1974, Heimlich wrote up a little description of this maneuver and sent it to a medical journal. Pretty soon that got picked up by a national paper.
The Chicago Daily News. And quite a week later,
a retiree named Isaac Peha, who had just read about...
You want to read it?
Yeah, why don't I read it? Because I know where it is. Yeah, it's the last one in the Red Notebook.
So the first question he asked, naturally, is what kind of wall are we dealing with?
Well, looking at the construction of Bronze Age walls in the Middle East, there were mud
I can't pass. That's
How the question then was, how much sound would be necessary, what volume, to topple a wall?
Is it illegal?
Yeah, we came up with a number. This is a technical number for the strength of the sound.
You'd need to produce...
You just to shame this soldier.
Right.
They hate him, and they even go so far as to be like, it's guys like you that are the reason we lost Vietnam.
Right.
I was like,
Greek lamb, right?
I believe so, yes. There's a big debate about whether it's called a
the
gyrocopter or a hero-copter.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't he fly all the way from Florida?
No.
Oh, because that would have...
Gettysburg.
Imagine if he flew from Florida and then they shot him down. He'd be like, come on.
Well, we knew he would have flown from Florida because he would have done it the whole way with his blinker on. The angle of the armadillo. So he'd get a better shot next time. Bill, how did Faith do in our quiz?
We knew she'd catch up. Faith got 6 right for 12 more points. She now has 14 and the lead.
Well done. All right.
Formidable.
Well, we flipped the coin. Maz has elected to go second. Here we go. Fill in the blank. 2 men were charged.
All the dirty coal, normally the coal fumes would have just gone into the atmosphere and spread out, but there was this layer of cold air above London which sort of formed this bubble, if you like, of warmer air inside, and everything just turned back towards the ground and mixed with moisture.
So stations, the train people are going, okay, we're going to lay down, like, it's very Home Alone, isn't it? Like, everyone's like trying to reinvent how you can get by in a city where you can't see.
Everything's like a 1980s movie to you, isn't it?
Well, just think about it, like, no one would have been prepared